G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing on this fine ass evening? It's a nice sunset right now. We're getting the pleasure of seeing once these trees clear up, but damn, we have a video topic today for them people struggling on their motorbikes, so don't you worry. But before we get into it, g'day ladies and gents, my name is Nathan. I make videos on motorbikes and whatnot. You guys enjoying them? I'm gonna keep on making them, and let's get boogieing on to today's topic. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about how to build confidence on your motorcycle. Now, I know I did a video the other week about not being scared on your bike. It's a similar vein to that one, but building confidence and not being scared are two separate things. So once you get a motorbike, you might be a little bit, nervous, and when you hop on the bike, you might not be the most confident in your skills to do certain things. You might feel like you're going to stall. You don't know if you're going to brake hard enough. Stuff like that. Believe you me, there's a lot of things you need to do and practice. What is this on my side here? An NSX, another one. My brother and I were literally just talking about NSXs. God damn. What are the odds of that? Because I know there's an NSX around this area, there's a white one that drives around occasionally, but I haven't seen a black one yet. So that was a nice little thing to get into. So how do we get confident on a motorbike, ladies and gentlemen? You need to find yourself a quiet area to practice in. An empty parking lot is the best way out of everyone. So if you need to go early in the morning, late at night, or even in the midday, get to an empty parking lot, because I'm telling you, the best way to build confidence is to practice the fundamentals. Now, if you can't do your clutch work, and if you can't do your simple braking, your confidence is never going to be the best, all right? Now, you might be scared about dropping the motorbike and all that. That's fine. You know, that's just something that comes with time, and the more you ride, the better you get at knowing when and where you're going to drop the damn thing. So don't worry about dropping the bike. Dropping the bike is not a thing that you should fear ever on the thing, because look, everyone's going to drop a bike eventually. It's just a matter of time. If you haven't dropped it in 30 years, congratulations, but still, never say never, all right? Doesn't matter how confident you are, because there are times where even I've still nearly dropped it, and that's usually doing a U-turn in the garage. I might hit the front brake a little bit too hard, and then the bike gets a little upsetty spaghetti in terms of physics and tries to do the old nappage on the side of the road. Find yourself an empty parking lot. It's the easiest way to start practicing. So you need to make sure you practice your fundamentals, and that really does help you in the long run. Practice your clutch work. So doing your slow riding, so walking pace speeds. So when you do a fast idle, ride the clutch and ride your rear brake, and then just practice riding at that very slow, under 10 kilometers an hour speed. All right, that'll help you build some confidence in building up your motorcycle abilities to ride upright no matter the speed. So that's a good thing to learn. Practice your emergency stops, because if you're confident in doing your emergency stopping, you'll practice at getting better. In that way, when there's an actual situation where you feel like you do need to hit the brakes really hard, you're not going to panic and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. So especially if you ride a bike with more powerful brakes, you need to learn how to use them properly, because you don't want to flip the bike forward and do an endo and then break your face on the ground. So find yourself a place to practice that. Oh, that skyline over there, I don't know if you'd be able to see that with the camera on, but I can see it through the trees. It looks gorgeous, man, gorgeous. So I want to try and go to the side here, maybe get on a better main road with a bit less traffic and a bit less foliage, you know. I just want to be able to see the sky right at this hour. We can come in through here and cheekily fit. No walkers, mate. That's it, brakes. Sing the sound of your people. But riding at the slower speed stuff and practicing all that will greatly help you in the long run, mainly because a lot of the lack of confidence comes in the slower speed maneuvers. That's when the bike's more likely to fall down, okay? Going fast on a motorbike, it's not just gonna fall down, all right? That doesn't just happen. Unless you pin the throttle and you hit some water and you lose traction, it's not going to go anywhere. You can let go of the bike and the bike will just keep going, all right? That's how physics work. And what you need to realize when you're going slow is when the bike's going to be the most uneasy. It's going to wobble the most. It's going to feel like it's going to fall down the most. And if you want to find out this way, just let the bike roll, okay? Put it in neutral, like get up to like 30 kilometers an hour or something. Put it in neutral and then ride the rear brake as you go slow down, and then pay attention to what speed the bike starts to feel uneasy, and it's going to start going, whoa, because the bikes at slow speeds don't like standing upright, all right? That's why you practice at them, because that's when you build your confidence enough to be able to be like, you know what, I'm confident in doing this now, so don't you worry. So it's just a matter of getting some hours in on the bike and practicing it. And people say you don't need to practice much. Man, bikes are a skill. It's not just something you can just hop on and do every time, right? So it's a thing you need to practice. I ride every day, basically, so believe you me, I've practiced. Some of you newbies might have the confidence in your brain and the lack of skills on the road, and that's what makes you have the lack of confidence whilst riding itself, okay? Now, knowing your brakes is also important, because then you're not going to be as panicked if someone slams the brakes in front of you or whips out in front of you. So that's just another thing that's going to help build your confidence. Because I know a lot of the time that's a big fear of a lot of riders, because it's a fair enough thing to be scared of, because just the basic fundamentals of riding are pretty dangerous and scary to some people. So you don't want to have that happen to you, man. I know, I get it, all right? It happens to the best of us. Stop squeaking, you bloody annoying front brake. Jesus Christ, I need to really wear this thing in a little bit. Another thing you guys need to practice is riding in traffic. I know it's a bit scary for some of you in the beginning, but once you start riding in traffic, you more like that immediately is going to build your confidence up, because riding in traffic can be quite the scary thing for a lot of new people, and for good reason. It can be the one thing that does you the big scare. Oh look, the biker boys are up here. They're not even riding with them, but they're all the learner boys. I wonder where these squad's going. And they're all speeding. Oh, great. This is not what we want to see what the new bikers do. If you have that's a good thing as well. If you have a small group of friends that aren't too reckless, ride with them. It's a good way to get your confidence up. Don't ride with them straight away, or like a big group. I would only recommend riding with like maybe 1 or 2 other people at the most at the beginning, because it's very easy to, do some stupid things and hurt yourself. These guys are the kind of riders that are going to end up hurting themselves, though, because they're riding very recklessly. No indications. Jesus, that's how they end up as a temporary rider. Are you kidding me, man? What are you doing with this bus? Those riders are the kind of riders that aren't going to last if you're riding like that all the time, unfortunately. Jesus Christ, BMW, what are you doing, man? Whew. So riding in situations that give you a little bit of confused, that's a good way to get your confidence up, because practicing your skills, as I was saying, traffic has the most unexpected amount of encounters out of all of them. So believe me, you're going to have a good amount of times of practice with your oh hell moments, you know what I mean? Because that's just the nature of riding in traffic situations. Things happen, people turn out of the middle of nowhere, people slam brakes on. Unexpected situations happen constantly, and the last thing you need to do is be scared of them, because you need to know how to practice getting yourself into a safe situation, man. This BMW bothers me more than the bikes do, because it's just sort of all over the shop, and they're all going half the speed. Mate, what the hell is going on around these parts here? If they start lane filtering, I'm swearing they're going to do some damage to themselves, man. Yep. I'm more intrigued about watching these learners ride like fools than I am, talking right now, because it really do be a bit like that. So don't ride with people like this, where you're riding a little bit recklessly through the town. That's a good way to hurt yourself in the long run. Now, one thing you're going to notice is they're all riding in a straight formation. That is not how you ride. You're supposed to ride staggered, because if someone brakes, you're going to go into the back of them. Oh boy, man, this is the opposite of what I've been preaching to you guys about riding. I'm going to keep following them, because it's just exciting to see them doing things. And now they want to go staggered right at the ending. I'm very intrigued with these kinds of riding practices. I'm going to go over here, though. I think I've done this enough. Anyway, back to the topic at hand about getting some confidence when you're building up when you're riding. Besides practice, ladies and gents, there's not too much else I can do. Oh, learners, you're not supposed to be filtering. Silly boys and girls. Man, I can only say so much. I can't tell anyone what to do, but that is not how you're supposed to ride as a beginner. Now, overconfidence, ladies and gents, is a weakness that you will experience when you're a beginner rider. As you can see in front of me, these guys most definitely have a lot more confidence than they do have brains at the stage. Riding recklessly when you're a learner is not how you end up as a long-term rider, because it's a very easy way to get into a situation where you're not as confident to deal with what the hell is happening, thus doing something wrong, and then ending up in a big ouch situation. So the last thing you want to do is get too confident for your own abilities, because I can tell you with a certainty that it's a very easy way to get into a situation where you're going to hurt yourself, or maybe someone else. So bikers like this shouldn't be doing the filtering, because legally they're not allowed to. And now they're in my way, because now they're just sticking with their boys, and I can't get to the front because of them. But I am going to filter past them, because I don't want to do this. I'm not in the mood to deal with recklessness right now, ladies and gents. It was fun while it lasted. It distracted me heavily, that's for sure. But without further ado, another thing you can do to help build your confidence, ladies and gents, is give yourself a destined route, so one that you know, a definite location. Doesn't have to be a big ride, just a simple little ride, okay? Something small, something comfortable, even if it's just your back streets. And go around there a few times. Practice your local area if you must, because it's a good way to know your basic fundamentals of riding. Oh, another biker boy over there. Because if you're riding in a place that's familiar to you, it's easy for you to practice and know what you should be doing, what and what not to do, you know what I mean? Because you know the roads, you know the corners, you know the turns are coming. So the more you practice those fundamentals, the more you're going to be better at them. So then when you go to other areas, you sort of got your braking distances down, you know how your bike turns, just to get your fundamentals built up. Because the last thing you want to do is have your fundamentals all over the shop. Because if you're going into a corner and you don't know how far your bike can lean, it's a recipe for disaster, because you might do something stupid and therefore end up, scraping the ground and then going off the bike into the corner because you don't know how far your bike can lean. Simple stuff like that, and then, it's just going to end in disaster. Can I make myself over here? I can. I want to go back the other way now, because I don't want to keep riding into this area, because I don't really like the area I'm riding in. Because some of the skills you should be practicing, ladies and gents, are your basics, like your U-turns and everything. Because if you can't do your simple stuff, how do you expect it to do something crazy when a situation calls for it? Because you might need to do some crazy maneuver in the middle of nowhere, and thus do something that ends up getting you ached because you don't know how to do it. And it's embarrassing when you're trying to do a U-turn and you drop the bike because you didn't practice your basics. And I'm telling you, it hurts your ego and your pride more than anything. Oh boy, it's got the very dark, very fast. But ladies and gentlemen, don't ride like those learners do if you just started riding, because I can tell you it's going to end in disaster for you. And the last thing I want to hear about any of you, ladies and gents, is that something horrible happened because you rode like an absolute fool. All right, so don't be doing stupids, because I told you I don't feel sympathy if you hurt yourself doing stupid stuff in built up areas. Okay, if you want to be stupid, go out in the middle of nowhere, because at least then you made an effort to get away from people. You're doing stupids in places like this, well, it's a good way to get under a car very quickly, and I can assure you it's going to hurt. So perhaps don't do that. So riding around in your basic areas where you're comfortable with is a great way to build a foundation of your skills that you do know. Riding around in parking lots is a good way to build the fundamentals, your slow riding speeds, your braking, your simple balance points, your clutch work. That alone will build your confidence up more than you have any idea. Now, if you want to help a little bit more, go out to a simple twisty area that's not too trafficky. Don't go too fast, and then practice your turning, because it's very easy to lose sight of how to do a turn, where it's like you got to turn from the wide, come in narrow, then leave wide. You know, that basic turning theory. But one thing that you might end up doing without realizing is target fixation. So if you're not too confident in your skills, target fixation is something that will happen a lot more. Now, it can happen to anybody, don't get me wrong, but it's just more common the less skilled you are. Going slower in the twisties will help you realize if you're starting to target fixate, because you might go into a corner looking at something like, oh, I might hit that, and then you're just going to stare at it. So a good way to practice is going into these corners slower than normal and start looking where you want to go, as opposed to looking at the thing you don't want to hit. And simple stuff like that will help you get better over time. Yes, I know if you're not going stupidly fast, you're not going to get that much better at going through twisties, but believe you me, practicing the fundamentals will help you get more improved than anything else will. Going fast on your learners is easy, all right? Everyone can go fast. It's the skills to do in the simple situations where something goes wrong that doesn't come naturally, okay? So one thing that's very common with a lot of learner riders is easily overconfidence, and I might do a video on this next actually, but it's the skills and the oh shit moments that matter more than the I can go fast moments. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you want to do is do something stupid and hurt yourself. And unfortunately, it's very common. Ah yes, let me just wait. Old mate did a champion move. Unbelievable. Can't believe that happened. It's such finesse, you know. He shouldn't have come out at all, but going back at the speed and whatnot he did, fantastic. 10 out of 10 on his part. But yes, going to the twisties, making sure you're looking at your turn that you want to go to, not where you don't want to go, is a great thing to practice at a slow speed, because I can assure you doing it at a fast one means there's less room for error, and you might end up off the road and in a bush or in a railing or worse. So simple stuff like that, man, will help boost your confidence. If you have any other suggestions, ladies and gentlemen, because I know some of you guys are seasoned veterans, leave them down below, because I would have got through a few more, but those bloody learners distracted me, and it's easy to see when people are not riding in a smart way and then being like, because look, I can very easily do a thing very similar to those bikers. I can ride recklessly pretty well, mainly because I sort of know what to expect around the areas now, but as watching a bunch of beginner guys do it, it rubs me the wrong way, because I don't want to see anybody painted all over the nature strip as opposed to riding comfortably in the squad with the boys. And it's almost like a lot of my videos are based on safety. Anyway, ladies and gents, leave comments down below. More little tips that can help the beginners out. Always more than welcome. Otherwise, hop in the Discord. The link is in the description. If you have any questions, you will always feel welcome to ask them. There is no stupid questions in my Discord, only fun and stupid answers. As long as they're helpful, though. Alright, otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, take it easy, keep it cheesy. It's time to love you and leave you. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. And you'll see my actual opinions on people riding stupidly, because I don't lie when I say I don't really appreciate bikers doing dumb things, because it does make us all look bad. But even then, even if I lack a severe amount of empathy for the human race, the last thing I want to see people doing is hurting themselves by doing something stupid. So what do you do, man? What do you do? Otherwise, ladies and gents, peace, bye.